All right, welcome to our tutorial video on how to make configuration changes to your Talkable campaigns. We're going to go over how to make changes such as changing the layout of your share or sign up page, such as changing to equal or email emphasis. We can also set this up as an A/B test. We can also add or remove share channels from the share page, such as Twitter and Facebook or Facebook Messenger. We can also change the placement of the image from right or left configuration. We can also, by default, check or uncheck the opt-in checkbox, as well as change the font of our campaigns and the overall layout. And we are going to do all of this from our Easy Editor by navigating to the Configuration tab and playing around with those settings. All right, so once we are in one of our campaigns that we would like to make configuration changes to, we're going to navigate to our editor. And once in the editor, you're going to see we have the option to toggle through different pages of the customer experience. So if there's a particular screen we want to change configuration settings on, we can do so by selecting from this drop-down menu and then clicking on Configuration. Configuration will have all of the different settings related to the layout of the pages. So you'll see on the sign up page, which is the first page that advocates will land on to begin sharing, we can change a number of different settings on this page. Everything from changing the type of button we have here, so changing it from a square, rounded corners or rounded sides. We can also change the positioning of the image from right to left alignment. The other thing we can do is uncheck this checkbox by default. So right now it is currently checked by default, but we can also uncheck it by default or remove it altogether. The other thing we can do here is change the primary font. So we do have a number of fonts that we have available if you do want to play around with the font on the screen. In addition to the sign up page, we can go to the share page, which is one of the pages where a lot of configuration changes are made, just to play around with how we want advocates to share, if we want them to be able to share with different share channels. So what I'm going to do here is play around with some of those share settings. So right now you can see, for example, we have these different share channels, so SMS, email, link share, Twitter, WhatsApp, and then we also have some different options for Facebook. So right now I only have a wall post enabled for Facebook, but I can also change it to direct message, which is Facebook Messenger. So I can have both of these or one or neither. So I want to enable both. So I'm going to change it to both, and then I'm going to save those changes. And once this loads, you'll be able to see that now we do have Facebook Messenger as a share option. The other thing I want to do is remove link sharing. So I'm going to go ahead and disable that one. And so you'll see now we have 3 new share channels: email, Facebook, and Facebook Messenger. The other thing we can play around with is the layout of the share page. Right now we have equal emphasis, meaning that email, Facebook, Facebook Messenger, those buttons are all equal sized. What we can play around with is actually what we call an email emphasis, meaning that email will be the primary share channel that we encourage advocates to share through. And then they will also still be able to share through the other selected share channels. So once I save those changes, you can see this is what we call an email emphasis layout. It does change the dimensions of the image, so you will need to update that image if it's not correctly sizing here. But this is what the email emphasis page looks like. And obviously you can still play around with the copy, image, and color on this page, but this is a configuration setting to change this type of a layout. The other thing we can change is the alignment of the layout. So I'm going to change it to a right alignment. So you can see now the image is actually switched, and we actually have seen that this type of placement performs better. So it's something that you can test as well. If you want to create an A/B test for this configuration setting, you can set it up so that half of people will see right alignment, half will see left alignment, and you can run it just on this campaign or any number of campaigns that you have going. So I set up that A/B test, so it will now show half and half. And you'll be able to see once you go back to configuration settings that this test is now ready to run. So once I launch this campaign, it's currently in test mode, this A/B test will go live. So as you navigate through the different pages, you'll be able to see the different configuration settings for each of those. For emails, for example, our main configuration setting here has to do with the layout. So we have the ability to do header, image, and text, or text only. So when I do text only, it will remove that image. It will just be a text-based email. So you can preview what that looks like here. We actually see plain text emails tend to have higher click-through than image-based emails. So it is an interesting test that you can set up here as well. And then on the claim page, you also have similar settings that you do on the advocate side. Some are slightly different, but you do again have the ability to change the layout from left to right aligned, pre-check that opt-in box or uncheck it by default, play around with the layout of the button, or change the primary font. So here I'm going to change it to Roboto, can save those changes, and you'll see the text has been updated with the new font. Great, so that is an overview of how to make configuration settings to your campaign. Please check out our other videos for more tutorials on how to optimize your campaigns. Thanks so much.